It's time for another episode of Chillie Chats, where we interview folks from the travel and cruise industry world. To introduce today's guest, here's our host, Chillie Falls.
My guest today on Chillie Chats is my good friend Jeanine Williamson, the writer supreme. She's known as the River Cruise Queen, and she's someplace in France on the Cyrano de Bergerac. Jeanine, welcome to Chillie Chats.
Lovely to chat to you again, Chillie.
Please keep in mind that Jeanine, who works for Cruise Critic, is on the Garonne River and live streaming from a moving ship on a river. The Wi-Fi signal is iffy at best. I think the audio quality is going to be fine. The video quality is a little shaky. Sorry about that, but it's worth listening to what Jeanine has to say.
First of all, I'm now back on the river for the first time in 5 months, so this is hugely, hugely exciting. So I'm on board the Cyrano de Bergerac, which is one of the 50-plus river and barge vessels, which is operated by a French company called CroisiEurope, which is actually the largest European-based river cruise company. And I'm on a round-trip cruise from Bordeaux, 5 nights, Bordeaux and back. And yeah, here I am. So it's great to be back on board. And interestingly, CroisiEurope is the first company to go back with multinational passengers. So I'm on board with some guys from Ireland, Switzerland, France, Germany, Monaco. And yeah, so really good to be back on board.
All right, since none of us have been able to cruise yet, but you're the first, how have things changed as far as procedures and what's allowed and changes on board the ship itself?
Well, obviously, like life itself at the moment, things have changed. I think they're handling it very well. The passengers are all very happy. There were a lot of protocols already put in place before we arrived. So, for example, for arrival, just for any passengers coming to France, we had to fill in a health form. As far as CroisiEurope, the cruise line, is concerned, we had to fill in a health questionnaire before we got on board. Our temperatures were taken before we got on board. All our baggage was sanitized. There's lots and lots of procedures on board. Hand sanitizers all over the place. Face masks provided in the cabin along with a set. I think I've got it printed out here of health protocols that you have to abide by, such as social distancing. All the cruise members are wearing face masks. We have to wear them when we're moving around the ship. So I'm not wearing one at the moment because I'm sitting in the lounge. So if I'm sitting in the lounge, in the restaurant, up on the sun deck, sort of in situ being still, I don't have to wear one. And so that feels good, and it really gives the impression that the feeling that you are really on a regular river cruise. And I think it's like most of us in all of this, we've had to get used to so much over the past few months that some of it has almost now become the norm. So it's felt odd almost to begin with. You're coming out of your cabin, you've got to put on a face mask, but you quite quickly get used to it, Chillie, I would say.
Where are you located now, roughly?
Okay, yeah. So we've set sail. It's a round trip from Bordeaux. So we're travelling along the Garonne River, visiting different cities and villages along the way. Most of them wine-producing villages, which is very good, I say. I've got a glass here with me. So we've been to places like Blaye, Bourg, and different places that we're visiting. All of them mostly associated with wine growing, which is great.
I did notice that you seem to have a glass of wine all the time.
Well, it would be rude not to, Chillie. It would be rude not to.
And that's a picture of the front of the Cyrano de Bergerac. That was
in Bordeaux as we set off. And in fact, it was quite sad to see because CroisiEurope, it's their first cruise on the Garonne. They're the first river cruise line to go back there. And as we left Bordeaux, we saw a couple of, well, 2 or 3 other ships moored up by the waterside that are obviously empty and not going anywhere at the moment. And that was quite sad to see.
And looks like another cocktail there from one of the staff.
And there you see, that was the welcoming cocktail on board on the first day. And as you can see, all the crew members, I mean, delightful. You can sort of see their smiles behind the masks, but they are all wearing masks all the time.
And then just a little while ago, you posted this with your daily cocktail.
Yeah, because I mean, one of the great benefits of the cruise line, CroisiEurope, is they have an open bar policy. So all the drinks are included in the fare, not just wine with lunch and dinner, but drinks throughout the day, you know, because the French like their drinks. Oh, there's the lounge. That looks beautiful. Nobody in it at the moment, apart from me, probably. So all their drinks are included in the fare, which includes a daily cocktail. And yeah, there I was having one yesterday, which was very pleasant.
Awesome. Yeah, that was you yesterday. And when do you get back to Bordeaux?
Bordeaux. Yeah, so it's a 5-night round trip. So we get back. I've got 2 more nights on board. But yeah, it's been great. To be honest, Chillie, it's just been really, really good to get back on the river. It's been very interesting to see how they've put these protocols in place. I've spoken to, you know, quite a few passengers on board, and they're all very, very happy with what's being done. I think they're all having a good time. They're just glad to be back. They understand what's happening. They understand why it's happening. And the crew have made it, none of it seems very intrusive. You know, I have to admit, the first couple of days, yeah, it's hard. You know, you go out of your cabin, you've got to think, oh gosh, I've got to put a face mask on. And you forget. And they very politely remind you. And very soon it becomes a habit. So I think, you know, this is the new normal. It's what we've got to get used to. And if it means we're going to get back to cruising, hey, so be it. I'd far rather do that than not be cruising at all. I don't know about you, but...
I'll do anything. You know, it doesn't matter. And I felt so bad. I don't know where you were as far as leaving, that if you know about Rudy Guten, they had some problems up there in Norway that kind of set things back a bit. And I felt terrible about that one, but I'm tickled to see something going right.
Yeah, and I think, you know, up till now, really, river cruising is sort of moving the way forward, because obviously the ships are much smaller, the number of passengers are much smaller, and we've just got this ship carries around 170, got about 124 people on board. They're running to like a 70% capacity to deal with the social distancing and so forth. So I think, you know, river cruising is managing to set the protocols that hopefully, you know, ocean cruises can do. I mean, like you, I was devastated here with Hurtigruten because they were set to do round Britain cruises. So obviously me coming from Britain, I thought, okay, great, I'm going to get back on an ocean ship. So that's very sad to hear how that's been set back. But I think, you know, river cruises are in a position to handle it very well, given the small number of passengers, the number of crew, and the way they can handle it. And I've been very impressed the way they've been doing it here.
The good news we had this week, to balance with the bad, is there seems to be some remarkable strides have been made on the breathalyzer test. Both in France, they're doing some work on it in France, they're doing some work on it in Norway, they're doing some studies over here in the US, and there seems to be a lot of movement toward actually getting the breathalyzer test available, which would give us instantaneous results. So I'm excited about that happening.
That sounds good. As long as it's not an alcohol breathalyzer test.
Yeah, no, it's a COVID breathalyzer. It's just like the alcohol one, but it does actually test for the COVID-19.
Yeah,
Which, man, if they can ever get that rolling, that'll be so good for you can go on an airplane and get ready to get on a plane and be tested and walk on the plane and know that everybody's safe.
Yeah.
And then you get to a ship and go on, everybody gets tested to go on. I'll blow in a tube. That'd be great. I don't mind that at all. So anyway,
we will welcome that.
well, I am tickled pink that you're on the river. That's fabulous. I wish I was with you. Needless to say, I'm still stuck in Virginia, and will be for a while. It looks like over here things aren't going well in the States at all. But so I'm thrilled that you're out, and I've enjoyed your pictures, and I sure thank you for doing this. And hopefully we can do this again next time you're on a cruise.
I'd be delighted to, Chillie. It's always great to talk to you, and thank you very much for getting in touch.
That wraps up CroisiEurope and this episode of Chillie Chats with Jeanine Williamson. Remember, you can find Jeanine's writing over on Cruise Critic about the Cyrano de Bergerac and the CroisiEurope cruise. As always, if you've enjoyed this, we'd appreciate a thumbs up. And if you'd like to keep up with the latest in travel and cruise industry news, Chillie Chats, and the latest in cruise ship, ports of call, and cruises themselves, hit that little subscribe button. The bell notification will let you know when I go live or when a new video is posted.
Thank you for watching today's chat. We hope you will join us next time as we discuss various facets of the travel and cruise industry. Chillie Chats is a production of Chillie's Cruises and hosted by Chillie Falls.